welcome everyone to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about some other tags, what we can use lists to do and what we can also use tuples to do. So we're asked to write a function that prints all integers of lists. So it's actually a function. The purpose of that function is just to print integers of a list. Very important. Format one integer per line. So we're going to see examples like this. So each integer per line, so whenever we run it, we're going to have 1, then the next line 2, then the next line 3, the next line 4 and 5 and so on. So just like that, then we are not allowed to import any models. So very sure we are not importing any models here because we don't need any external support, inbuilt support. You can assume that the lists only contains integers. So let's assume that only numbers should be provided, and that can be work out. That can really work out if we are using the print, then using the column D, because we only need integers. For that, you are not allowed to cast integers into strings. So we are not allowed to cast integers in strings. Yeah, if you talk about casting in Python, you cast in string, or you cast in boolean, or you cast in integers, so whichever one. So we now cast into integers or integers into strings. You have to use the str.format to print integers. So I'm not going to waste time, because you see at the end of everything, whenever we run our 0main.py file, we expect to have something that looks similar like this one we have here in our example. So I am going to open, we are going to start coding. So what's the first thing we are going to be doing here is I'm going to navigate to where we always write our code, desktop. Then we are going to navigate to LX like that. Then we are going to navigate to let's check what we have there. So we have data and structures with 0x03, then python dash data underscore structure. So I'm going to cd inside that 0x03, so just like that, and I'm going to list what we have there. So we just have one file, introduction, which was the previous introduction we have done earlier. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to create two files. So the first file is the file where we'll be running our code, and the second file is a file where we'll be returning all the instructions we need so to get started. So without further ado, so I'm going to vim inside new file. The file name I'm just going to call it 0, then dash, I'm going to call that print, then underscore lists. So underscore lists, then underscore integers. So sorry, let me just remove the s. Then I'm going to put .py like that, because it's a Python file. So this file I'm about creating, I'm writing some instruction into, is the file that is going to contain all of our codes we're going to be returning. So I'm just going to hit enter, then I'm going to go straight to the insert mode and we'll start typing some code. So I'm in the insert mode, so I'm going to put as exclamation mark. Then the next thing that comes up is user. Then then we have the bin, then we have the python3, yes, like that. So now that we have that set on our device, now the next thing is to start giving out the instruction. So the first thing is we're asked to use a prototype, so I'm going to define a function, a prototype function of print. So I'm going to type that print underscore list integer, lists, then underscore integer. So I'm going to put that in open and close bracket, and I'm going to put in it my underscore list. So actually whatever I'm passing there is a parameter, but this parameter is not just a variable, but it's a list. So I tell you, this parameter, a function can receive any data type as a parameter, whether it's a list or it's a tuple. It can be accepted fully into pot. So actually this is the prototype here. So what we are going to be doing actually in this place is we are going to start by defining the function, then we are going to loop through each of whatever that is provided here, because we are receiving a data from our end user. This is what we are receiving from our end user. The end user is receiving info from there, so we are going to be manipulating this information we receive. So when we talk about list, with number one, we don't know the number of values the user is going to produce. The user might end up producing 5, 6, 10. We don't know the value appropriately, but we can actually say that we can look through each, but we need to know the total of each value that was provided by the user or by the end user. And how can we do that? Is by writing our for loop. Then I'm going to just put x there, then I'm going to put in, then my list. So my list is coming from the parameter I passed there. So it's going to loop through the list that I've provided through that function. Then just like that, my list. Then having done that, the next thing is I'm going to be printing out those stuff so that we can make use of it. So I'm going to be printing out the information we are giving out. So I'm printing out just because I want to see what I'm working with. So I'm going to say print, then we're asked to use a format string, a string.format to print integer. So I'll make sure I make use of that. So dot as a string.format, just like that. Open and close. Then in it I'm going to pass the value of x, which we have here. X is here and x is also here. So it's looping through. X now represents whatever list the user is passing through that list. So I'm going to put a curly braces in there. I'm going to put a column and a D. Now the reason I'm putting that is because I want to restrict the kind of information I am receiving. I want the information received to be specifically numbers and not strings, because I want only numbers to be provided in that function. So you can see that. So now I think that should be it. I think there's nothing else again to do. So let me go ahead and test how it works. So I'm just going to declare that my list, like that. Then I'm going to assign it to something like because it's a list, so I'm going to use a square bracket. So I'm going to pass 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 7 comma 3, just like that. Then I'm going to pass it to my function. So I'm just going to say print like that underscore list underscore integer. Then I'm going to put my list in there. So you can see that. So now I can go out and test this to see if it works. So we have the new file we just created. So let me change the mode first so that I'll be able to execute it. So now I can run it to see what my output is. So you can see 1 is printed out, 2 is printed out, 3 is printed out, 4 is printed out, 7 is printed out, and 3 is printed out based on the information I have provided. So that is that, but actually we have not sorted out the project. We want to solve the real project. We want to solve the real project. So I'm just giving an instance so you know how we test it still on the same file. So after that, the next thing we're going to be doing here is, instead of printing out those stuff, then why don't we pass it on or return it, then we allow the next party to do so instead of doing that ourselves. So once the next party to do so, so I'm just going to pull the I'm going to pull it, copy. So then after copying that, I'm going to delete it. So this, like this, is okay. So the second party, which I'm going to create, vim, then 0 dash main dot py, just like that. Very cool. Then in it, we're going to insert actually whatever data we have there. So I think this should be in insert mode, exclamation sign. Then the next one is usr /bin, then /python3, just like that. Then the next thing is going to the next line and print. So we're going to print lines. Okay. So I'm trying to import it. So I'm trying to import the function. So that too is okay. I'm gonna use import. So import, then open and close that right away. So in it, I'm just going to put the name of what I want to import. So it's just 0 dash print print underscore list underscore integer. So underscore list underscore integer. So just like that. Then I'm going to give in the specific function I'm targeting, or the specific module I'm targeting. So it's a function actually. So inside the file, we still have a function that I want to import integers. So just like that, now I can go ahead and paste whatever I have there, and I can quit and list. Now we have 0 main.py. So I'm going to change the mode u plus x 0 main.py, like that. So let's list what we have there. Good. Now I can execute the main.py. Good. Okay, so I think we have a syntax error, invalid syntax. So let me see how I'm going to rectify that right away so we don't encounter errors. So we have my list there, integer, print underscore list integer. Okay, print underscore list, then integer, import print underscore, okay, list underscore integer. So actually everything here is the same, so I don't know where I'm getting that error from, but let me have a careful look at that. Integer, then underscore my list. Okay, I don't know if I named that file correctly, because if I do name that file correctly, I shouldn't encounter such print. Okay, so let me go ahead and list the files and see. So 0 dash print underscore list dot integer. Let me cut the 0 dash main. So I think everything here is okay. So let me try running it again to see. Okay, yeah, I've seen where the issue is coming from. Actually, whenever I paste it, it always bring everything into one line. So that's where the issue is coming from, because I'm using a mobile device. So whenever I paste, everything comes into one line. See, you can see what is going on. It's adding extra space even though when one doesn't exist. So I'm just going to hit insert and hit enter. So you can see that should have rectified that mistake now. So good. So now it should work fine. You can see 1 2 3 4 7 and 3. So I can go in there and change it to something else. I can replace that with 10, replace with 10. Okay, and just put 1 there and replace this with 5. Now I can go ahead and run that. So now going ahead and run that, we still have the correct output printed out. Now let's try something. Let's try to pass in something else apart from numbers and see what our output is going to look like. So maybe I get rid of this and pass in a boolean like true, just like that. And let me see what's going to happen. Well, it dropped 1 because true simply means 1. And let me see if I put false. False should be 0. False should be a 0. Wow. So maybe I come to where 5 is and I get rid of 5 and put false. So let's see. You can see where we ought to have 5 is being replaced by 0. So I think for true and false is just a 1 and a 0. A 1 and a 0. And actually these have actually really proved the fact that true simply represents 1 and false. Actually I used to hear this especially in binary, what is it called? Yeah, when we're doing binary, we'll talk about true and false, and you'll see true stands for 1 and false stands for 0. That binary operates with 1 and zeros. Actually, this is a proof of it, that it's actually 1 and 0. But let me pass anything apart from that, a boolean, and let me see. Let me pass Wisting and see if Wisting is going to be printed out. So there's an error. Now it's bringing out that function that it's only meant to print what? Numbers, which is, you can see this function that three numbers are meant to be printed out. So that is that for our tutorial. So you see unknown format code D for object of type string. So D is for object of type integers and not for strings. So please make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed, share, like if you've seen anything that caught your attention. Please make sure you smash the like button and have a nice day. Please, I also want to tell each and every one of us and my fans that are there with me. I know I've stayed long before coming up this way, but I try my best. I'm just a little bit busy trying to put things in place, but I'm fully back. So nice having you guys, and God bless you.